7 signs she's usually attracted to you and how to make her obsessed. Psychology tips. Love is not about possession. Love is about appreciation. Osho. Most men move through life completely blind when it comes to women. They convince themselves that attraction is built on buying gifts, saying the sweetest words, or showering her with endless attention. But that's not attraction, that's desperation. And desperation never sparks desire. Here's the truth no one dares to tell you. When a woman is drawn to you, she rarely says it outright. Instead, she reveals it in hidden signs, subtle gestures, fleeting glances, shifts in her tone that most men miss. And when those signs are ignored, the moment slips away. Worse, many men start chasing, begging, overinvesting, and in that instant, the fire of attraction dies. Because attraction doesn't come from logic or checklists. She doesn't sit there weighing your height, your bank account, or your jokes. Attraction is raw, it's primal, it's emotional. She feels it in her body before her mind can ever explain it. And when that spark is alive, everything about the way she interacts with you changes. Her voice, her eyes, her closeness. But knowing she's attracted is only the beginning. Attraction is a spark. If you can't feed it, it fades. She might feel it today and forget you tomorrow. What truly matters is learning how to take that first spark and fan it into something deeper, an obsession. Obsession is when she replays your words, waits for your text, compares every man to you, and finds them all lacking. That's the level you want. And today, I'm going to show you step by step how to recognize the signs and turn fleeting attraction into lasting desire without games, without confusion, and without chasing. Just clear truth that will forever change how you see women and how they see you. 1. Her eyes will tell you everything. If you want to know whether a woman is really attracted to you, don't waste all your energy dissecting every word she says. Words can be rehearsed, polite, or even misleading. But the eyes, those are the gates to truth, and they never lie. When a woman feels that magnetic pull toward you, her eyes will betray her before anything else does. That is why psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips always highlight eye contact as the first sign of desire. She might smile at you just to be polite, but if her gaze doesn't carry that flicker of fire, there's no real attraction. What you must notice is simple. Does she hold your eye contact a little too long? Does she drop her eyes to your lips while you speak, almost like her imagination is running ahead of reality? Does she sneak those quick side glances when she thinks you're not paying attention, only to look away the second you catch her? Don't think these are coincidences. Instincts don't fake desire. A woman doesn't repeatedly stare at a man she feels nothing for. Her body won't even let her. Her biology makes her eyes find what excites her. That is the raw truth. Now here's where most men destroy the magic. They notice the look, their ego spikes, and suddenly they start chasing, texting too much, talking too much, trying to convince her to feel what she already feels. Don't do that. Don't strangle the flame with desperation. Mystery is oxygen for attraction. When you act like a starving man at a buffet, you kill the appetite. Remember this. If her eyes are giving you those undeniable signals, she's already intrigued. Your role is not to beg for her focus. Your role is to be calm, to be composed, to be the kind of man who lets her attraction breathe and grow. When you lock eyes without flinching, without fidgeting, something powerful shifts inside her. She feels your steadiness. She feels your confidence. And confidence is dominance in its most irresistible form. Suddenly, she's not just attracted, she's curious. Curiosity is the root of obsession. She'll start asking herself silent questions. Why doesn't he look away? Why does he seem so sure of himself? Why does it feel so different when he looks at me compared to other men? Those questions start running wild in her head, and soon she's not just noticing you, she's imagining you. She's picturing the story of you and her together, playing out scenarios in her mind. And that's when her attraction deepens into something far more consuming. This is the essence of love advice and dating tips that actually work. You must not push. You must not over-explain. You must not collapse under your own nerves. Be strong. Be deliberate. Be the man who knows his worth without shouting it. Because in the silence of that steady gaze, you communicate everything: desire, confidence, and possibility. So never forget, her words might be polite, her smile might be generic, but her eyes are the loudest truth tellers you'll ever meet. Read them, respect them, and respond with calm power. That is the key to unlocking her attraction and planting the seed of obsession. The truth is simple. Her mouth can deceive you, but her eyes never will. If you can master the art of reading her eyes, you'll never again be blind in love, because you'll know exactly when to step forward, when to stay still, and when to let her desire chase you. That's the psychology tips men need but rarely hear, the dating tips that separate the desperate from the desirable, and the love advice that can change the way you see women forever. Don't underestimate the power of her gaze. It's the quiet invitation to a story she secretly hopes you'll be bold enough to write with her. 2. Her body language will betray her. You can learn more about a woman's attraction by the way her body moves around you than by any words that slip from her lips. Why? Because body language is instinct. It's not planned. It's not polished. It escapes her control and exposes her true feelings without her even realizing it. That is the magic of love psychology. The unconscious tells the truth the mouth tries to hide. When a woman is attracted, her body begins to broadcast signals her voice will never confess out loud. If you want to attract women, don't just listen, watch. Watch the way she leans in when you speak. It's not that she can't hear you, it's that she wants to live in your space, close enough to feel the warmth of your breath. Her body angles toward you, her feet, her hips, her shoulders. They line up like compass needles pointing north, and you're the magnet. That is not an accident. That is desire in motion. Notice the fidgeting. She touches her hair, adjusts her clothes, fiddles with jewelry. Those little movements are not random. They are releases of nervous energy. Attraction creates tension, and tension demands an outlet. Her fingers twist a strand of hair because her heart is twisting itself into knots. Her hands smooth her dress because her mind is trying to smooth out the chaos inside. That is how love psychology plays out in flesh and bone. And don't ignore the physical contact. If her hand brushes yours and she doesn't pull away, that silence is louder than 1,000 words. If her arm grazes yours and she leaves it there, that is permission disguised as accident. A woman who feels nothing keeps her distance. A woman who feels desire closes the gap. That is the difference between indifference and obsession. But here's the warning. Don't ruin the dance by stepping on her toes. Imagine you notice all these signs: her leaning, her touching, her restless energy, and instead of staying calm, you lunge forward, grabbing her hand, suffocating her with attention. You kill the spark instantly. Attraction is firewood. You don't drown it with gasoline. You let the flame breathe. You let it build. That is the art of relationship goals: patience, control, and timing. You must match her energy, not overwhelm it. If she leans closer, don't retreat, but don't dive in either. Hold steady. If she brushes your arm, allow it, but don't clutch her like a lifeline. That balance is what keeps the tension alive. And tension, gentlemen, is the bridge between attraction and obsession. Think about it. When she feels herself pulled toward you, but she doesn't fully have you, her mind races. Why do I feel this way around him? Why can't I stop thinking about him? That mental loop is a trap, one she gladly walks into. That is when attraction turns into obsession. And obsession is where you stop chasing and she starts chasing you. So never dismiss body language. Words can be rehearsed, polished, even manipulated. But her movements, they are raw, they are pure, they are instinct in its naked form. If her body is leaning in, if her space keeps closing, if her energy buzzes restless in your presence, she's not just comfortable, she's attracted. Your job is not to force it. Your job is to notice it, honor it, and let it unfold. Don't be the man who mistakes desperation for desire. Be the man who understands the silent language of attraction. Be the man who makes her wonder why her heart beats faster when you walk in the room. That is how you attract women. That is how love psychology works in your favor. And that, my friend, is how you turn simple attraction into lasting relationship goals. 3. Her voice will change around you. When it comes to attraction, most men miss the subtle signals. And one of the most underrated yet undeniable signs is her voice. Pay attention because the voice never lies. As the old Stoic Marcus Aurelius said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth, but her tone of voice, that's instinct speaking. When a woman is sexually attracted to you, her voice changes without her even realizing it. It's nature, pure and unfiltered. Around her friends, her tone is casual, flat, or ordinary. But around you, the pitch softens, laughter comes easier, warmth seeps into her words. Sometimes her voice even gets quicker, higher, a little shaky, betraying nervous energy, and nervous energy is just desire wearing another mask. When she has no interest, she stays neutral. When she feels desire, her voice gives her away. That is a signal you must master. Listen also to the way she says your name. A woman who's into you won't just call you by your name. She'll savor it, she'll repeat it, she'll draw it out like she's tasting the sound of it. That isn't an accident. That's intimacy forming at a subconscious level. She's already putting you in a category far above every other man in the room. As Seneca, one of the old Stoic masters, once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Don't imagine signs where there are none, but when her voice bends towards you, it's not in your head. It's real. It's instinct. It's attraction. But here's the trap. Most men blow it. They get too excited. They think, she laughed at my joke, she must want me, and suddenly they start pressing too hard. That kills the vibe. Don't chase. Don't overreact. Instead, let it sink in. Smile. Stay calm. Stay composed. That is the way of a modern Stoic. Control yourself, not her. Because here's the truth. When her voice changes, she's not just reacting, she's testing. She wants to know if you notice, if you can handle the energy without collapsing into neediness. If you stay cool, she feels safe. If you overreact, she pulls back. That is the test. Pass it, and the bond deepens. Fail it, and you lose her respect instantly. Every time she hears herself laugh with you, soften with you, every time her tone warms in your presence, she's linking pleasure to you. This is how attraction grows into obsession, when her body, her emotions, and yes, even her voice, all align to connect you with joy. Plato once said, "The beginning is the most important part of the work." Your response in these moments determines everything. Show strength, patience, and presence. Don't just be another man who mistakes her signals for a green light to chase. Be the man who recognizes them, respects them, and builds an unshakable frame. Modern Stoic wisdom teaches control what you can, accept what you can't, and remain centered in every storm. Old Stoic philosophy reminds us that the highest victory is victory over self. And in relationships, this principle holds. Attraction is not about rushing, it's about grounding. It's not about forcing, it's about leading. When you hear her voice shift, don't doubt it, but don't gloat either. Stand steady. Master yourself, because the man who controls his reactions becomes unforgettable. The man who stays calm under the fire of her desire is the one who burns into her memory. So take this as your instruction. Notice the voice, but don't chase it. Accept the signal, but don't overplay it. Recognize her attraction, but hold your composure. That is how you rise above the crowd. That is how you transform from a passing interest into an obsession. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Master yourself, and you will master attraction. Ignore this, and you'll lose it all. You must choose which man you will be, the desperate or the disciplined, the ordinary or the unforgettable. Be the modern Stoic in love. Use Stoicism to guide your steps, and you'll find that her voice becomes not just a sign of attraction, but the soundtrack of her growing obsession with you. If you found this eye-opening, make sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs these psychology tips, and subscribe for more love advice and dating tips that actually work. And here's your affirmation to lock this lesson into your mind. Comment it below to remember it. I stay calm, confident, and in control. 4. She finds reasons to be around you. Attraction is never random. It is effort disguised as coincidence. And one of the strongest psychology tips you can learn is this: women do not invest their time where they feel nothing. If she is drawn to you, she will invent reasons, small, subtle, sometimes almost ridiculous excuses to linger in your space. That's one of the clearest love advice signals you can ever spot, because women value their time too much to waste it on someone they don't secretly desire. She might suddenly show up in places where she knows you'll be. She may drag out conversations that could have ended 5 minutes earlier. She may ask you questions that don't matter just to keep the connection alive. That's not accident. That's attraction pulling her closer, like an invisible magnet. Pay attention to the details, because in attraction, details are everything. Maybe she pretends to be interested in a hobby of yours that never caught her eye before, or she stays behind after a group conversation hoping for that one-on-one moment. These are not random behaviors. These are signals of desire, signs of her testing the waters, ways of saying without words, I want to be near you. But here's where most men fail. They think the right move is to chase harder, flood her with attention, or over-explain themselves the moment she shows interest. Don't do that. Don't kill the magic by trying too hard. What keeps her hooked isn't your eagerness, it's your calm presence. Your ability to let her exist in your space without turning it into a performance. That's the essence of power in attraction. The less you chase, the more she leans in. If she's putting in the effort to show up, you've already won half the game. She's invested. You must understand that attraction is like gravity. The stronger your presence, the more she orbits around you without you having to move. You don't run after planets. You stand firm and they revolve in your field. The same rule applies in dating tips and real-life love advice. Don't run after her. Let her move towards you. And here's the psychology behind it. The more she chooses to be around you, the more her mind justifies her actions. She starts asking herself, why do I always want to be near him? Why can't I resist him? That's where obsession begins. Not when you chase her, but when she chases you in small, unspoken ways. Every invented excuse, every stretched conversation, every accidental meeting reinforces the idea in her mind that you are the man she cannot ignore. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In attraction, her thoughts become colored by you. The more she invests, the deeper her feelings grow, until being around you becomes a need, not just a choice. So remember this: a woman who feels nothing will vanish quickly. She won't linger, she won't invent excuses, she won't return. But a woman who feels desire will always circle back, always find her way into your space, always create a reason to stay. Don't overlook this powerful truth. Don't dismiss it as coincidence. Be the man with gravity, not the man who begs for attention. Be steady, be calm, be confident. That is how attraction grows into obsession. That is how her desire deepens into something she can't fight. And that is how you move from just another man in her life to the man she can't stop thinking about. 5. She gets jealous without admitting it. Jealousy is one of those fascinating clues in love psychology that reveals far more than words ever could. A woman who feels no attraction toward you couldn't care less who you text, who you laugh with, or who happens to walk into the room. But when she's drawn to you, even if she tries to hide it, jealousy sneaks out like a shadow she can't control. Don't underestimate it. Don't ignore it. That is the sign you must pay attention to if you truly want to attract women and reach your relationship goals. Watch her closely. When another woman comes near, does she suddenly grow quieter, her eyes following the interaction with unusual intensity? Does her tone shift when she casually asks, "So, who was that?" Or, "You two seem close." She might joke, she might roll her eyes, but her eyes betray the truth. Jealousy is attraction wearing a mask, whispering, "I want your attention and I don't want to share it." Sometimes it comes out as teasing, like she's making fun of you for talking to someone else, but beneath that laughter, she's testing you, testing whether she matters more. Other times it appears as playfulness, where she suddenly becomes brighter, more engaging, as if to prove she outshines the competition. That competitiveness is no accident. It's her desire stepping forward, trying to claim her place in your world. In love psychology, this is the silent battlefield of attraction, where her emotions fight for dominance, even while her words pretend otherwise. If she feels nothing, she won't care. If she feels everything, she'll care even when she swears she doesn't. Now, here's where most men trip. They see jealousy and instantly rush to reassure her. They say things like, "No, no, you're the only one I like," or "Don't worry, she's just a friend." Don't do that. That is the biggest mistake. Why? Because reassurance kills tension, and tension is what fuels attraction. When you hand over certainty too quickly, you rob her of the very spark that keeps her thinking about you. You must resist the urge to smooth it over. Stay calm, be composed. Let her sit with that flicker of doubt. Because when she doesn't know exactly where she stands, her curiosity grows, and with curiosity comes desire. Think of it this way: a flame only spreads when there's oxygen, not when you smother it. Jealousy is the oxygen of attraction. It fans the fire in her mind. That nervous energy, that little knot in her chest, becomes the reason she replays your conversations in her head long after you're gone. It keeps her awake, wondering if she truly has your attention. And the more she wonders, the deeper she falls into obsession. That is the hidden power of jealousy. It transforms simple interest into something far more consuming. Don't run from it. Don't fear it. Use it wisely. Remember this: jealousy is not weakness, it is proof. Proof that her heart is engaged, her emotions are alive, and her attraction is real. In the world of dating tips, men who understand this truth rise above the rest. They don't panic, they don't over-explain. They let the subtle tension do its work. Handle it with strength, not with desperate reassurance. Be the man who holds steady while her emotions swirl. That is how you shift her from curiosity to commitment, from attraction to obsession. And if your relationship goals are to truly attract women and keep them invested, then you must learn this lesson well. Jealousy is not your enemy, it's your ally. If you found this eye-opening, hit like, share it with a friend who needs these psychology tips, and subscribe for more love advice and dating tips that actually work. Comment to remember. Jealousy means she's invested in me. 6. She opens up and shares personal things with you. When a woman begins to open up and share personal things with you, pay attention, because this is not just casual conversation. It's a declaration of trust and attraction. Attraction isn't only physical, it penetrates the emotional core. She lowers her walls because something inside her whispers that you are different, that you are safe, that you are the man who sees beyond appearances. When she starts to say, "I don't usually tell people this," or "I feel like I can be myself around you," she's not just speaking words, she's signaling that her guard is down. That is powerful. Marcus Aurelius, the great old Stoic, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And here's the truth: when she begins to open her mind to you, she is handing you power, the kind of power that creates emotional investment. Handle it well, and that investment turns into attachment, and attachment grows into obsession. Modern life often tricks men into thinking they must impress, overshare, or dominate every conversation. But that's a trap. Don't do it. Don't unload your entire life story at once. Don't ruin the frame by seeking validation. Instead, be still. Listen deeply. Give her room to talk. Be present. A modern Stoic man understands that silence patience, and presence carry more strength than flashy words or desperate stories. Let her feel like she is unlocking you piece by piece, layer by layer. That keeps her engaged because mystery fuels attraction, and attraction fuels desire. Remember the words of Epictetus, another old Stoic. We have two ears and one mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Women are not drawn to men who constantly talk about themselves, but to men who make them feel understood, safe, and curious to know more. In today's world of shallow dating apps, surface level connections, and distractions everywhere, genuine emotional connection is rare. That is why when she begins asking deeper questions like, "What do you really want in life?" or "What makes you happy?" she is testing whether you're just another man or the man she can attach her dreams to. Don't dismiss it. These are not small questions, they are invitations into her inner world. She is investing her emotions into you, and as any student of Stoicism will tell you, emotional investment is what binds people together far stronger than fleeting physical attraction. Once her heart is involved, walking away becomes nearly impossible for her. That's when she stops just wanting you, she starts needing you. Here's the key. Obsession doesn't grow from physical chemistry alone. It grows from the stories, secrets, and emotions she ties to you. Every vulnerability she shares is like a thread connecting her heart to yours. The more threads she weaves, the stronger the bond becomes. And once her emotions are tied to you, it is no longer just attraction, it is attachment. And attachment is what makes you unforgettable. That is why the modern Stoic man must master restraint, patience, and discipline in these moments. Don't rush, don't break the frame. Be the man she can pour into, not the man who spills himself out in desperation. Remember, self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power, as James Allen said. When she feels you embody this, her admiration turns into obsession. So the next time a woman opens up, recognize it for what it is. Proof that her attraction is deepening, proof that her defenses are crumbling, proof that she is stepping closer into your world. Don't squander it. Don't underestimate it. Be the man she feels safe revealing her hidden thoughts to. Because when you handle this correctly, you are no longer just the man she desires. You become the man she cannot stop thinking about, the man she obsesses over, the man who lives in her mind even when you are not around. That is the mark of true mastery in love psychology. And that is the path of the wise man who blends attraction with stoicism, just as the old Stoic philosophers taught, and just as the modern Stoic man must live today. 7. She mirrors your energy and behavior. When a woman mirrors your energy and behavior, you must understand that it is not a random accident. It is one of the clearest signs she's genuinely attracted to you. And if you know how to handle it, you can transform this into deep connection and even obsession. Human psychology reveals that when people are drawn to someone, their bodies unconsciously copy their movements, their tone, and even their energy. It is a silent but powerful way of saying, "I feel connected to you." That is why when she starts leaning back when you lean back, sipping her drink right after you, or crossing her arms right after you cross yours, you must not ignore it. Those little echoes are not coincidences. They are her subconscious aligning with yours, her inner self creating harmony between her energy and your presence. Pay attention also to her language. If she begins using your phrases, adopting your slang, or even laughing in the same rhythm as you, this is more than just comfort. It is chemistry being woven, thread by thread. This is where psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips become vital. Because without understanding the hidden meaning behind these behaviors, you might misinterpret them or ruin the natural rhythm. Why does this mirroring matter so much? Because it signals two things. First, she feels safe enough to connect with you, and second, she wants you to notice her alignment with you. That is the essence of attraction. It is not just about beauty or charm. It is about safety, resonance, and emotional synchronization. But here's the trap many men fall into. They see her mirroring, they get excited, and they rush. They start over-complimenting, trying to escalate too fast, or acting as though they've already won her heart. Don't do that. That kind of impatience destroys the magic. You must be steady. You must let her continue to sink into your rhythm, because the more she unconsciously mirrors you, the stronger the bond grows in her mind. And this bond is not just emotional, it's psychological conditioning that convinces her that being around you feels natural, inevitable, and right. That is what makes her attraction grow into craving. Think carefully. When her body is copying yours, when her words are echoing yours, she is literally training herself to feel closer and more connected to you. Every moment she does this, her brain reinforces the message, he and I are aligned. And alignment is powerful. It is the foundation of obsession. When she feels that being around you is not just pleasant, but instinctively correct, she begins to pursue you. Not out of conscious decision, but out of subconscious drive. That is why psychology tips, love advice, and dating tips always emphasize the importance of patience and presence. Be calm, be steady, let her sink deeper into the flow you've created. Don't rush the rhythm, don't force the pace. Attraction at its strongest is silent, invisible, and built moment by moment through this kind of mirroring. So here's the final truth. When a woman mirrors you, she's not just showing surface level interest, she's showing deep alignment. And alignment is the soil where obsession grows. If you learn to recognize it and respect it, she will feel drawn to you with a pull she cannot resist. But you must discipline yourself. Don't act needy. Don't brag. Don't try to break the flow. Be confident, be centered, and let her mirror you again and again until the connection is no longer fragile but unstoppable. Because once her subconscious convinces her that she belongs in your rhythm, she will chase you, crave you, and give you her full attention without even understanding why. That is the art of attraction in action. And if you master this insight, you'll never be confused again about whether she's interested. Her actions will tell you more loudly than words ever could, and by staying steady, you allow her own instincts to turn attraction into obsession. And there you have it, my friend. Now you know the 7 signs that reveal when a woman is truly attracted to you, and more importantly, how to turn that spark into lasting fire without ever chasing. My advice is simple but powerful. Don't overthink, don't beg, don't act desperate. Instead, be calm, be confident, and let her attraction breathe. That's how obsession grows. That's how she stays hooked, and that's how you stand out from every other man. Remember, awareness is your weapon, and confidence is your shield. Use them wisely, and you'll never be confused about her feelings again. Thanks for watching. Take this knowledge seriously, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay strong, and keep winning.